welcome back to Tea with Tavia podcast. I'm Tavia, and I'm here with the tea. Today I'm drinking Bigelow Botanicals cold infused, like black raspberry something, berry hibiscus something. So get yourself some tea, get yourself a snack, and we can, come hang out together, and I can spill my crazy mind onto you poor people. If you know what that sound is from, you're a real one, and probably as messed up as I am. So anyway, and guess what that button is called? And it came programmed like this. That specific button is programmed as 666, and if you know what this sound is from, let's just say Happy Tree Friends wasn't so happy. Anyways, today I'm here to talk about some dreams. Well, specifically one dream, but I decided to put some other ones in there for a little bit of context to show that this isn't unique to happen. I don't think it's unique to happen to just me. Okay, for one, let's start there. I don't think I'm special. I think this happens to so many people, and people just aren't willing to talk about it. And why not? Because we'll seem crazy. Who cares? If somebody's gonna make you feel like you're crazy because of your dreams, something you can't control, then they're just an a-hole. So let's get into it. So I've had some very crazy dreams in my life. Some of them have been what I would consider premonitions, predictions. They're usually very specific to like me and the people around me. Or, some of them have been societal, like metaphorically speaking, if that makes any sense. I wasn't going to tell this one, but I guess I'll start with this one because it is just seared into my mind and has been since I was since I had the dream. I think I was like 4, 5, something like that. Well, anyways, so, I remember it was around the time when and if this tells you how big of a defiant little shithole kid I was. Okay, so my dad and I are out in the yard gardening, right? And I'm looking at this plant, and he tells me, Tavia, please don't touch it. And I decide to grab it, and I rub it all over my body from head to toe, like where the sun don't shine everywhere. Like, I was like, oh, you don't want me to touch it? I'm gonna touch it. And not only am I gonna touch it, I'm gonna rub it all over my body. So, and I think it was more because he told me not to do it and didn't explain why. And I feel like that was a huge thing to me as a kid. If you were just going to bark orders at me and not explain why, because that was a lot of my question a lot of the time is why? Why are we doing it like this? Why are we doing it that way? Why can't we do it this way? Yeah, and nobody was ever really good at explaining why to me. So I feel like that caused a lot of confusion for me growing up, because looking back, I feel like if somebody would have honestly just sat down and explained why to me, like in depth, and like gave me all the gory details when I was a kid and asking, maybe I wouldn't have gone out and tried to figure out why. But anyways, so I had this dream. Well, I remember this time in my life because, again, I rubbed poison ivy everywhere all over my body. And I think I had this dream around the time I might have been laying there in my bed having a fever dream during the poison ivy. I might have just separated them out in my mind. I think it was when I had like the poison ivy all over my body. I was laying there in my dad's bed having this dream, and all these adults in my life start coming in, right? And it's like I'm not even there, right? And they're just walking past me and going straight to the bathroom. And then I get up because I hear crying to go check on said adult that just went into the bathroom. And they are on the toilet, but they are a baby version of them. So, like, the toilet turned them into a baby. Okay? I was like 3 or 4, okay? It doesn't make any sense. Dreams aren't supposed to make any sense most of the time. However, I tried to record this exact dream last week. However, I tried to edit the video and lost all the footage. So that's what happened last week. I did want to record a video for you guys. It was supposed to be about my brother because most of these dreams involve my brother. So yeah. But so anyways, all these adults keep coming in, going into this bathroom, using this toilet, turning into babies. All of a sudden, I have a collection of baby adults just running around. I don't know what to do. I'm in charge of all of them. And I'm like, I'm too young to be in charge of all of these people, right? And so, I'm freaking out. And then here comes my grandma, my dad's mom. And, she's like, it's alright, I know what to do. And she's like, we gotta get all these babies and get them to the hospital. They have a special shower there that will turn them back into adults. And I'm like, okay, well that makes sense, right? So, I'm panicking in my dream and I'm trying to gather up all these babies, right? And last week when I was recording this dream, I had like an in-moment realization on camera of what the dream is about. I'm really sad that I lost that footage because it was really funny to witness myself having an in-moment But anyways, so we get them to the hospital and they turn back into adults and everything's fine and I wake up. But I realize this is a dream that has haunted me since I was that little, right? Like, I've had this dream reoccur over and over again, and I finally realized why, and it's because most of my life, I felt like the adults in my life aren't actually adults. You know what I mean? Like, there comes this point in your life when you finally reach that moment of adulthood and you look around and you're like, all of these people are faking it. Everyone's faking it until they're making it. And that's just the complete truth and honesty. We're all out here pretending like we know what we're doing and we don't. So why don't we just stop pretending and admit that we have no clue what's going on? You know? I feel like even somebody as smart as Elon Musk, and don't get me wrong, like, I think the guy is smart, right? But even he has no clue all the mysteries to this world. So that's my take on it. Alright, so let's get into some of the more serious dreams. Alright, I had at least two separate occasions, right? Where there was another time along with that, but I was on something, so I'm not even going to count that dream. These are just the dreams that were not provoked by anything else, except for I just had a really messed up dream, okay? Well, anyways, in these two dreams, one of them, my brother, he was getting ready to go do a deal. I think we were like 12 and 13. I wasn't really too into all of what he was doing yet, but I was observing from the sidelines, and I knew what he was up to, and I would, go hang out and party with them sometimes, but I wasn't too into what my brother and his friends were doing at this point. But, so I had a dream that I was my brother. I looked down in my dream. I have my brother's hands. I'm wearing my brother's clothes. I have my brother's stank. Like when I talk in my dream, my brother's voice is coming out of my mouth. And I go, as Michael, I go up to his friend's window to do a deal with him. And somebody comes up from behind me and attacks me as Michael. And so I woke up, I panicked, and I told my brother about this dream. And of course, he didn't believe me. And then my dad is actually the one who took him, drove him to go do this deal, right? From what I understand and remember. I remember my dad being the one to actually admit that my dream had happened, because I had told Michael and my brother, because we would wake up every morning and we would do a wake and bake together, because Michael and I would just bomb like every single morning for the longest time. My dad couldn't figure out why, but we stopped bombing every morning when we started waking and baking. So, like, my dad, he didn't know about that at first, but yeah. So after a while, he realized that Michael and I were doing that, so that way we wouldn't bomb every morning before we had to go to school. Yeah. So I don't know why. We were just very, very nervous about going to school. Michael less so than me. I missed a lot of school when I was younger, to the point where my dad's like, okay, screw it, we're just going to homeschool you, you know? You might hear a lot of strange sounds. There's, like, things flying overhead, and my washer, Bertha, is having a meltdown, so. Anyways. But yeah, so my dad, Michael didn't want to admit that dream had actually come true at first, but after a while, he did admit it. And this was after, like, years of us fighting back and forth. And we had this other dream in between, another dream where I predicted, where I was him and I predicted an event. We had this really weird dream where our family had been homeless for a while before Michael and I had this dream. We had just finally moved into a house at this point, right? We were just renting a house from somebody who was friends with my grandpa when my grandpa was alive, and felt sympathy for my dad, so gave him a good deal on rent. So we moved into this house. It was right across the road from Graytown High School. It's this little white house, 2-bedroom. And I still have dreams that I'm in that house and it's haunted. Like, I recently have had a dream that I'm in that house with my dad and Michael, and it's haunted. And for some reason, whenever I dream of these two, especially lately, it's of in this house. Okay. This dream. I call it the Red Devil dream. And honestly, it was like a wet mogwai, a gremlin, you know? It was like, but it was redder and just way more vicious. Like, there was no cute, cuddly side to this little demon, alright? And, Michael and I had just moved into this house. It wasn't even a 3-bedroom house. There wasn't even enough bedrooms for us. Like, Michael had to sleep on the couch. I had a weird dream that the couch ate me when I was living there. Like, I took a nap on the couch, and, like, I rolled into the couch and went into another dimension. And then the couch spat me back out. And when I woke up, we had been, like, boiling water to help heat the house because it was such a small house, and we technically didn't have, like, hot water or we were running things off of a generator, okay? So we technically didn't even have electricity. We had water, but we didn't have hot water. So we had to boil water to make baths, and I fell asleep boiling water to make a bath. The couch ate me, okay? Wasn't my fault. And I was pregnant at the time, so there was no influence other than, like, pregnancy hormones, right? And the couch ate me, and I wanted a bath really bad because I was in pain, and, you know, I just wanted a bath. I wanted to feel clean. So I was boiling water for a bath and using the generator to power the stove, and I accidentally fell asleep, and when the couch spat me out, like, there was just a little bit of water left in that pan. Like, if I didn't get spat out by that couch, and, like, you know, you can smell that smell when there's just a little bit of water left in the bottom of the pan. It gives off that metallic-y smell. Like, you better hurry up and get in there because this is turning into hot metal very quick. So anyways, couch spat me out, and I ran in there, and I turned the stove off. And I was just like, whew, you know. But, yeah, there was another dream I had there with Michael. Michael and I both had this same dream. It's what I call a shared dream. So, I think it's why movies like the movie Inception. Now, there's something off about Inception. I can't quite put my finger on it. I like the whole idea and the concept, but I don't know. I'd have to rewatch it. It's been a long time since I've watched it, but it's kind of like Inception, but not that. Anyways, like we didn't know that we were in a dream when we were having this shared dream. In the shared dream, I don't know Michael's perspective. He's not here to share that with me. We were planning on doing this whole podcast together and doing so many things together, but he's not here to share that with me anymore. I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you. I waited 10 years for him to get out of prison and finally come unload with me on camera in front of everyone to see the shit show, but he decided other plans. And honestly, I would kind of like to ghost hunt him because I have so many questions that I feel like I need answers to. And I know a lot of people are like, maybe you don't want those answers. Maybe I do. Maybe it would help me sleep better, you know? And I've been hearing things like, I know, don't worry. Like, I'm not going to do anything wild. But I have heard, it's not like all the time. Like, I can distinguish little characters I've made up in my head that I've made to help process things between, like, actual, like, hearing and feeling somebody talking to you. Like, I don't necessarily think I don't think you should just blow that off as mental illness, because I think that so many people experience it that it can't, like, and so many of these people are what I would consider relatively healthy and honest. So, yeah, I have heard things like say my name in my ear. I could feel the breath, hear the voice clear as day. So yeah, I have a lot of questions. And I don't feel like God allows people to have those abilities and be tormented by them no matter what they do, because I've tried all the kinds of cleansings, alright? It doesn't go away. In fact, sometimes it just gets worse. Even, like, the more prayer and more holy water and baptizing and, like there's nothing I can do to make it go away. Okay? And honestly, prescription medication makes it worse for me. So, we're not going there again. Talking about it makes it better, though. So, welcome to that. Who knows if this will even get uploaded? It might be deleted into the atmosphere again. Who knows? Oh man, I almost cried last time. There goes all the footage. But anyways, so the Red Devil dream, shared dream I had with Michael. We had both just moved into this house across the street from Raytown High School, and this little white house, 2-bedroom, very small living room, very small dining room, very small bathroom, very small kitchen, little itty bitty back porch. I used to sit back there and meditate because this is when I was all into Zen, right? So I was like, you want to know what? I'm just going to forget all my problems. I'm just gonna zen out, man. And I think that's when I, like, really mastered the art of disassociation. But anyways, so the Red Devil dream. Michael and he was asleep in my dad's room. I was asleep in my room. Me and him were very mad at each other around this time, like very much button heads still. However, Michael would have admitted if he was still alive, because he said this to me many times, around that time when I got pregnant with Anina, there were so many times when he just felt the urge to just rock me in my face, you know, drag the body away, hide it, but he couldn't. Whatever it was, and he believes it was my baby, was protecting me from his wrath. So, thank God for my oldest daughter. Like, I feel like just her being, her presence, saved me in so many ways. And I know so many people are going to be like, that's awful, but yeah, it is awful that my baby had to save me from my terrible situation and help me get out of where I was. But I feel like fighting for something smaller than me was the only way I was going to get out of my situation, if that makes any sense. Fighting to protect something else was going to get me out of my situation, help me start to process what I need. Not only that, but having her made me legally emancipated. Not suggesting teen pregnancy or anything, but it made me automatically legally emancipated, which means then, therefore, I could go out into the world and start providing for myself and my daughter. And in a life where you are already performing many of these tasks for yourself, providing for yourself, you would not believe how big of a bill I had in my name by the time my dad died. Like, my brother and I both were in so much debt by the time my dad died because he took out so many bills in our names. If that says anything, okay? Because he couldn't carry bills in his own name because he had so many overdue bills. Like, he couldn't do it anymore. So, and for some of it, my brother and I were aware of it. Mostly my brother, but not all of it. And he wasn't the only parent that took out money in our names. So, fun times. The Red Devil Dream. Let's get back to that. So anyways, my brother and I, we were really butting heads around this time. Yeah, my baby is the one that really saved me from the anger of his wrath, and I feel like it's what brought me and him back together, like, to work together, to be friends, because we had so much built-up tension between us, because I wanted to talk about childhood abuse and trauma and our fucked up life growing up, and he didn't. He didn't want to deal with that. He was not ready to deal with that. However, we always felt like we were supposed to be a team, but, you know, apparently we weren't. So, yeah. The Red Devil Dream. Michael was sleeping in my dad's room, and I'm sleeping in my own room. And, in this dream, there was a basement, and in the basement, like, I had not spent much time in the basement at this point because, quite honestly, I spent more time hiding away from my family than being with my little family, because it was just safer for me to just go hide anywhere I could hide, anywhere that would accept hiding me. So, I would go hide, and, my brother Michael, he was out running around doing who knows what. Driving down the wrong side of the highway, drunk with a keg in the back of his car. Probably. But, anyways, so, this Red Devil Dream. In this basement, I had not really been home very much, so I had not seen the basement really at this point. The only thing I had seen was, like, my bedroom. My dad had, like, kind of set it up for me, put the dresser in there, you know, put a table in there, a rocking chair, and a bed, you know. But, like, I went around and I decided all the, like, sheets and put my stuff everywhere, and that's really the extent of how much time I had spent at home over the month-long period that since we moved in there. And so, like, we had been homeless for, I think, almost a year at this point. A couple months to a year. I don't even remember. But, I had not been in the basement at this point by the time we had this dream. So I had not seen how in the very back corner of the basement all of the walls in the basement were fine. They were the same, like same kind of paint, same texture, except for this one wall. Okay? Keep that in mind. So my brother and I, in my dream, there's like this little red devil coming over our back fence towards us. And we start to try to fight him, start to try to catch him. He's causing all this mayhem in the house, like ripping things out of cabinets. It's a hectic scene. And Michael and I, we have to like get a special box, a special sort of crate, trap him in it, and we have to take the little red demon downstairs, and that wall downstairs, we go to it and it opens up Harry Potter style. And one of the reasons why I mentioned it was right across the road from the high school is because this wall opens up Harry Potter style. It is facing the high school, right? Like this house, the front of it is facing the high school. And this wall is like right under the front porch, pretty much, right? And so this tunnel would be leading right under the high school, right? And this tunnel is just, it's a bunch of demons locked in cells, and we have to find the cell that this specific little demon creature goes in. Like, Michael and I are supposed to be like, the whole point of the stream is Michael and I are demon hunters, right? And we used to have dreams like this when we were kids, like where we would hunt demons. And like they were shared dreams too. Like we would both have the dream. And we hadn't had a dream like this since my grandma passed away, right? So after my grandma passed away is kind of when the rift between me and Michael like really started. You know, we were a lot more unsupervised. Michael was a lot more curious child, which led to very inappropriate behavior. Michael was also making friends. He thought I was stupid. I thought he was fat and stupid. Like, so, we didn't like the only thing we bonded over was sitting in front of the TV in the kitchen and eating Doritos. That was the extent of our bonding. Oh, and maybe playing Spyro and listening to Eminem. Like, that was the extent of our bonding after my grandma died. So, yeah, Michael and I hadn't had one of these, like, shared dreams in forever. So, we were like, well, I was getting ready. Well, I think I just turned 14. And, or maybe I just turned 15. I don't remember. Kind of a blur. I was around that age. Michael was like 16. He got his license, I think. We're talking about getting it. I don't know, because Michael and I had been driving since we were like 12. Or maybe sooner, like at least in a parking lot, but definitely since we were like 12 and 13. I don't know how we didn't ever get caught. Every time we went over a bump, we had to get out and fix the battery for the car, or it would shut off and we would just be coasting. Yeah. So, anyways, we hadn't had a shared dream like the Red Devil dream in a long... Well, me, Michael, and my dad had one. We'll get to that. But Michael and I, just ourselves, we hadn't had an experience like that since we were really little. I don't know if you and any of your siblings, friends, have ever had like a shared dream where you both had the dream. If you did, let me know. Share your video. Send me the link. Tag me in it. I don't know. Comment it down in the comments if you've ever had a really weird experience like that, where you've had a shared dream with someone. Where you we both woke up after this dream. And I just remember did you just have a dream about? And yeah, I just had a dream about. And we couldn't believe that we had just had a dream that detailed, that intricate. I've tried to draw the red demon before, but I lost the notebook that I had started drawing it in, so maybe I'll try to draw it again. But try to draw it climbing over the fence, because that image is the image that is like seared into my mind. Is it like climbing over the fence coming at me? I think that's when I screamed for Michael in my dream, and that's when he came in. But yeah, so weird, very weird stuff. Anyways, I didn't have that dream again. However, I didn't have, this was not a shared dream that I'm aware of. My brother never talked about sharing this dream with me. However, I remember having this dream, and it was always very calm. I was always very calm in this dream. I don't ever remember being scared. I just remember thinking, that was a weird dream to have, and that's a weird dream to keep having over and over again. Until my dad died, and my brother told me where he found my dad and who was next to my dad. My brother woke up and found my dad on the bathroom floor. So in this dream, I kept I'm laying on the bathroom floor, and I'm staring up at, I'm just laying down. That's all I know, is I'm laying down and I can't move, but I can see. And I can feel something very warm and fuzzy next to my head. Kind of like my dog is laying, right? Which wouldn't be weird to me, because my dog Thelma, very similar to my dog Oreo. If you've ever seen A Dog's Journey, oh my goodness, makes me cry every time. Like, total vibes with Oreo and Thelma. And same thing with Cowsy and Piggy. Because, like, Cowsy, so I had this Chihuahua at my mom's named Piggy when I was little. I loved him so much. He was my favorite dog. And I always wanted to just have, like, a little dog just like him when I got older. Like, I always knew I wanted to have a little dog just like him. We called him Piggy because he was a short, fat little black Chihuahua. And he had a little curly tail and a scrunched up nose, and he would snort. Cowsy doesn't snort. His tail is a little curly. He's pretty skinny though, and he's a little bigger. But he does this thing where he like runs around my neck like Piggy used to whenever I ask for a hug. And like just their mannerisms are very similar. Same thing with Oreo and Thelma. Like their mannerisms are very similar. So like Oreo, I use her as a pillow. So all of that to say, I use my dogs as pillows. Okay? Anyways, so I didn't think anything. I just thought it was like a dream of a regular day. Have you ever had dreams of your day before you have your day? I've been having that happen a lot lately, which I feel like is just really annoying, because then I go through my day and I'm like, I've already been here and done this. You know, like, or maybe my days are just so predictable that they're easy to predict in my dreams. That's what I think it is. But yeah, I don't really think you can predict your dad dying on the bathroom floor like that, staring up at the window. But that's what happened. When I laid down on the floor in the bathroom, after my brother explained to me where he found my dad, I looked up the mini blinds, and the mini blinds were even broken in the same pattern as in my dream. And I kind of started to have a mental breakdown. Michael was like, "What?" And I'm like, well, see, here's the thing. We didn't know. Like, they hadn't pulled the plug on my dad at this point, but we knew. We knew it was bad. Like, we went home to go smoke real quick. We needed a smoke break. We went home to go smoke real quick, listen to some Owl City. And, Lil Wayne. Owl City and Lil Wayne. And, before we went back to the hospital, because we knew when we got back there, all of our friends and family were going to be there, and we were just not ready for that. So we needed to go home and take a cleanser break real quick. And, I walked in and I saw the mess from all the paramedics. And Michael, he did want me to wait outside for a few minutes so he could go in and try to clean some of it up, but I was like stubborn and I was like, no, like I'm going in. I need to see it. It was like a crime scene, man. You know, like his clothes all ripped up on the floor. You know? All of this medical waste and trash, like packaging all over the place. You know? Chairs pushed out of the way. Yeah. And I just laid down on the bathroom floor where Michael said that they found him, and I was not doing good. I was not doing good. And Michael wanted me to explain to him what was going on, so I kind of tried to, but like, I don't know, something about these events, and I realized that being able to predict events doesn't necessarily mean that you cause them. Okay, and that's kind of or praying for certain events doesn't necessarily mean that you caused them. That's kind of something I'm trying to learn, because, well, I'll share my abortion story in depth later, but I prayed for Dr. Tiller to die. I prayed for everyone involved with my abortion, something bad to happen to them. My dad died. The father of my child died. All of their own accord, you know. So, I wonder if anything ever happened to the nurses involved in that, because none of them stuck up for me either. And especially the counselor, because the counselor you would think would be somebody who would be on the young female patient's side at Planned Parenthood, wouldn't you think? But no, that's not how it goes. As long as they have a man waving money in their face, they'll do whatever to make that money, you know? So, yeah, that was my dream about my dad. I had that dream for a while before it happened. And yeah, you'll probably hear my children in the background. They are having fun. They're boys. They're having fun. If it sounds like murder, they're having... No, I'm just kidding. They're playing with their little dollhouse in the kitchen and their little action figures. So they get loud. They get very animated with their toys. Very creative. Love it. Anyways, so that was predicting my dad's future. And then after that, right after that, well, no, before that, because this was before my dad died, so when he was still alive, probably the summer, fall, right before, no, probably the summer, the end of summer, right before my dad died. I had a dream that, again, I was Michael, and Michael, he was going to go do a deal, right? And in my dream as Michael, I had a pew-pew in my waistband, and when Michael reached into his pocket to grab the product, his shirt got tucked under the pew-pew, and the person buying the product took his pew-pew out and, was pretty much like, hey, you better give me your pew-pew and the product, and I'm going to leave, or I'm going to pew-pew you. So, in my dream, as Michael, of course, I pushed back and was like, no, like, what are you talking about? And the guy pew-pews him. So, I warn Michael about this. I tell him, hey, if this happens, just give him what he's asking for so you don't die. And he didn't believe me. He was just like, oh, whatever. And I had just told him about this dream because he told me he was going to go do this deal, right, where it happened in my dream. And I was like, hey, by the way, last night I had a dream that this happened right over there. Please be careful. Like, and then he's just like, oh, whatever, you know. And so he comes running back to me like about 15 minutes later, and he's like, oh my God, you'll never believe it. It just happened. And I'm like, well, so you gave him this well, I was kind of upset because the product he was selling was actually mine, and I wanted my money. So I was like, well, did you get my money? And he was like, no. And I'm like, well, damn it. But anyways, so I'm glad that, you know, I was able to give him that information, and he was able to not be stupid, and he was able to live a little bit longer. But yeah, that was completely wild, completely insane. So all of that to get to the dream that I actually came here to talk about. And that's my revelation dream. And if you are my friend on Facebook, and you have been for a while, you might have seen me post about this a couple times. However, I have had a lot of practice reading, writing, and talking. So let's get back to it. Try to make it a little bit easier to understand. I know a lot of people don't like to read in the first place. So now you can listen to me talk about my dream. Anyways, it was a revelation dream. And me, my dad, and my brother all had this dream when we were living in the house on Leeds across the street from the Royals Stadium. So, 7th, 8th grade, 9th grade, that's when we were living there. That's how old I was. Like, towards the end of 7th grade. I think that's when we moved in there. Or it could have been the summer. I think it was the summer. Before 8th grade. Anyways. So, we hadn't been living there very long. There was also this, like, haunted painting we had since I was little. It was, and I've tried to find this painting everywhere. I can't find a replica of it, okay? That's how rare this painting was. My dad, he used to do, like, refurbishing for old historical houses and stuff like that when I was younger. And so he would get a lot of really cool stuff, right? And one of those things was this painting. And this was in Kansas City. So imagine, like, the really cool old architecture, like the Gothic type stuff. Like, yeah, my dad was helping refurbish a lot of this, right? And so he would get access to a lot of this really cool stuff that nobody was going to use anymore. I can't remember where this painting came from. However, I know that it came from that job. So it came from, like, a really old historic house. Like, honestly, somebody could have, like, that wasn't a professional artist could have just painted this of, like, their kids or something, right? Anyways, so it was two kids playing with string. And if you've ever been over to my house when I was growing up, you probably remember this picture, probably remember looking at it and going, ew, why does that look like Tavia and Michael? And two, ew, why does this painting feel so haunted? And yeah, we were haunted by this painting. Michael and I would have weird, crazy dreams about this painting and have, like, weird haunting stuff going on until one day my brother got up and in a rage, like, we had been fighting back and forth so much, and it was like the more dreams we had about this painting, the more Michael and I would fight, right? And so Michael gets up one day and he goes over and he grabs the painting off the wall and he just smashes it and then takes it outside and burns it. Like, he got rid of that painting. So, and then we started getting along a lot better after that. A lot better after that. So, during this time, we also had, me, my dad, and my brother, had a shared dream, what I call the Revelations dream. Okay. So, what is the book of Revelations? The book of, according to thebibleproject.com, the book is filled with visions and images that point to Jesus' return as the ultimate king, where he will restore his people and usher in the new creation, which, honestly, something little Tavia has been wanting for a long time. Like, I've been hearing about the lizard people and the satanic people since I was little. I've been tortured in my own right. So I am ready to I am ready to Harpatsa out of here. I am ready to go home. Like, I am done with this place. Okay? Like, and yeah, I know. I got a lot of issues I need to work on, and I'm trying. I just started therapy. Yay for me. Want to see my trauma book? Of course, whenever you make a trauma book, you gotta make it pretty. You gotta get the princess stickers. And maybe if you guys are really good, I'll read one of my poems out of here for you. Because, I know you guys don't like to do that yourselves. I named this my book of abuse that is already too many pages long. And I've already used far too many stickers. Because my therapist told me to make a timeline of, like, all of the sexual abuse specifically. And honestly, I don't even feel like it scratches the surface, but look at how many stickers I had to use. Like, that's ridiculous. I'm done. Like, this world is ghetto. I want out of here. So, that's my take. Anyways, Book of Revelation, which there was a time in my life, and it was kind of like my case for Christ moment, okay? If you don't know what a case for Christ moment is, try to prove the Bible wrong and, actually study it. And here's the thing. I think one of the things that turned me off from Christianity in the first place so much was everybody told me, it was like, especially the church I grew up in, like, we weren't allowed to have instruments to worship because apparently that's worshiping the devil. And nothing hits my soul deeper than a good deep bass line. Like, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. Like, I love the sounds of instruments. Like, you're not going to change my mind. You're not going to change my soul and the stance I have on that. Like, there is nothing better than music and being able to create music. And when I was little, I couldn't hear. I had to have, like, several ear surgeries, tubes twice, and then a skin graft on this ear. And then they also found, like, a huge cotton ball shoved down in this ear, and they were doing surgery for the skin graft on this ear. So I couldn't hear. So if we were, like, little kids together, and you were like, gosh, she's so stubborn, I probably just couldn't understand what you were saying, because I couldn't understand what I was saying either. Yeah, you used to talk like this, like we woke rainbows. So, yeah. It's taken a lot of practice just to get to this baseline of barely being able to speak. Anyways, so, or being able to speak in a jumbled up way. My Revelations dream with my dad and my brother. Well, I don't know. I feel like I just like to I overly explain everything, and hopefully I'll get better at that. But maybe that's not such a bad thing. I don't know. I felt like I've always had to overly explain everything because, like, you can't ever just say anything. People just take that as it is. And I get it. Like, I want to know more too. But sometimes, like, especially when it's something you've been through and people keep asking you and asking you and asking you over and over again, like, not that it's necessarily bad. It's just, it's tiring, So my brain has just already, overcompensated by overly explaining. So hopefully you don't have too many questions. But anyways, so Book of Revelations dream. Standing in the bottom of, like, a coliseum, which, if you don't know what a coliseum is, it's like a huge stadium, right? But it's like old, ancient Roman style, right? So I'm in the middle, like the bottom of a coliseum. And I'm surrounded by a bunch of my friends. What's crazy to me is the first time I had this dream, there were people in it that I didn't recognize yet because I didn't know them yet. which I think is wild to me. How can you have dreams about people that you don't even know yet? Now, I have had this dream a couple of times since the original dream. I don't know if Michael did, because he was away from me. I don't know if my dad did, because he died. And this was the only time I had the dream when he was alive. But I have had the dream while Michael was in prison. It's just, you can't call people when they're in prison and be like, hey, yo, did you have that revelation stream last night? And whenever you do finally get to talk to them, that's not the number one thing on your agenda to talk about. Hey, did you have that weird dream that we used to have when we were a kid? Anyways. So, we're standing in the bottom of Coliseum. There's a bunch of people around me. Some of them I didn't recognize yet. Turns out, like, I know y'all today. So, if you think you might be in my revelation dream, you probably are. Some of my friends turned into beasts in the dream, but I don't think those would be the type of friends that would come sit here and listen to my message. So, if you're here sitting and listening to this message, you probably are in this dream, and you probably don't turn into a beast, a mindless, ravenous beast. Anyways, which I hadn't spent much time, like, reading about the Book of Revelations and stuff like that. Like, yeah, I was a church kid. I don't think I was going to Catholic school yet. I think I was going to Noland Middle School. I don't think I was going to Catholic school yet at this point. I think after the stream, and after, like, running away from school and getting to fights at that school so many times, like, we were finally like, maybe some nuns need to, like, whip her into shape. It was actually my brother's idea. But, yeah. We're all in the middle of this Coliseum, and some of our friends turn into beasts. And this huge tablet falls out of the sky. And in my dream, my main focus is my dad and my brother, because that was my little family unit. But I do remember looking at my friends. Very specifically, I don't want to call anyone out by name, okay? Because I don't want you to feel weird. But, yeah. So I remember very specifically looking one of my specific friends in the eye. And then looking back at my dad and my brother. My dad, he points to this huge tablet that falls out of the sky, and he's like, run toward the Book of Revelations. And it was this huge stone tablet that fell out of the sky that had the Book of that had, like, Revelations. Just Revelations written on it, right? So we start running, and, like, some of the friends turned into beasts, and, they start chasing us. And me and all my friends, like, we're all running together, trying to help each other get to the Book of Revelations. I don't know what's going to happen when we get there, but we're all running, trying as hard as we can to all get there. We're all helping each other. I'm doodling. It helps me talk. But anyways, we're all running as fast as we can. We're, trying to all help each other get there. And my dad, he gets taken out. I don't remember what took him out. He was kind of behind me, kind of like pushing me and Michael along, and all of our friends. Which, if you knew my dad, like, that's not that far of a stretch to say. Like, yeah, my dad made a lot of wrong choices, but I feel like he was very much trying to help guide me and all of my little messed up, crazy friends in a better path than the path we were headed on, if that makes any sense. Like, he was trying to be like, hey, I understand what you guys are going through. I've been there too, but let's try not to make the same mistakes that I did. Anyways. So, but, we were stubborn. We wouldn't listen, and my dad never really explained why. He was very bad at explaining why. Like a lot of the other adults in my life. They would just say, don't do this, and never really, like, explain why. Like, I feel like if somebody would have told my brother Michael, hey, don't do meth, it puts holes in your brain, and it leads to all these other things, and like explained to him in detail, maybe he wouldn't have done it. I don't know. But I don't know. My brother was also always try anything once, so. And you can't just try meth once. Sorry, you can't. And you can't do it occasionally. I don't care what you try to tell me. Anyways, so we're all running toward the Book of Revelations. I remember Michael somehow gets locked in a cage, which would probably insinuate him going to prison. We're running in slow motion. It takes us a while to get there, right? Like, most of my dream is us running. Is the event of us running. And Michael gets locked in a cage. A few of my friends helped me get him out. And we continue running. And then right before we touch the tablet and everything goes white, I don't know what that means. I wake up at that point. But right when we touch the tablet and everything goes white, like right before we touch it, my brother dies. And it's like looking around at the current state of the world and the fact that more and more people are on board with the type of message that I'm trying to share here. Hey, I love Jesus. I think he's coming back soon. He's been prompting me to share these dreams, share what I've been through. However, I have too much trauma from rejection and a lot of the other bad uncle touch stuff, and I have a fear of a lot of the people that traumatized me trying to come after me. Most of them are dead now, but I have a fear of especially my narcissistic mother. If you're watching this, F you. F you, pay me. But you want to know what? Or my older they, them that, likes to torture me and my sister, in his ever so subtle ways. Yeah, screw you guys. I don't care what you have to say. If you want to try to sue me, go ahead. Go ahead. It would make for interesting content. Also, not that long ago, okay, so I'm gonna share a little bit of family tea. My sister moved away from where my family primarily lives, and my little brother, he hasn't really been talking to them really much either lately. My niece has been going through CPS cases, and she'll call us and she'll tell us stuff, and we'll ask her, what do you want us to do? But she doesn't really want us to do anything, and she's capable of handling herself. She's a big girl. She's reported her parents and stuff. Honestly, I feel like she should report my mom too, because I know my mom is showing her pornography and allowing her access to it, and that's child abuse. Clear and simple. That's child abuse. I'm in therapy. I know the law. That's child abuse. Get help. Anyways, and then probably also shaming her in turn when she does look at it, being like, hey, you can look at this, and then shaming her for when she does it. Isn't that fun? So narcissistic and manipulative. Love gaslighting. Anyways, and if you were to ask her, if you were to she would probably deny a lot of this. However, my siblings would confirm that, yeah, we had access to just a library of porn if we wanted it. And it came in the mail in my mom's name. She bragged about that. She made it seem like growing up to be a Playboy girl was the hot thing to be. But if you wanted to do that, you're a slut. So, that was my childhood. So if you wondered why I was so crazy and confused, that had a lot to do with it. Not only that, but there was a lot of religious manipulation there. I've got several pages in my trauma book about her. Not my new one, my old one that I've been working on by myself for years. That I started after my brother died. So I finally unsealed my trauma pages. Like, I had very specific pages for very specific people. I'm excited to read hers. Yeah, so. And yeah, why am I sharing my trauma and the abuse I've gone through? Well, because nobody has ever cared to listen. And yeah, I just started therapy, but I mean, every time I've tried to talk about it, I'm shut down. And I can talk to my husband all day, every day about it. He's very sweet, very sympathetic, but he didn't go through it. He doesn't know what to say. That's why I'm in therapy. Also, talking about it brings me some sort of relief, brings me some sort of healing. Knowing that this is out there, and if my mom was to click on it and just sit down, like, I don't want anything bad to happen to my mom or my older they, them. Have I prayed for it? Occasionally, but that's all in God's hands, okay? God gets to deal with you, and that brings me so much comfort, and I get to share my story. I get to share what happened to me. You can gaslight and try to manipulate all you want, but I'm done and I'm over it. I'm done with the years of cyberstalking. I'm done with the calls and hang-ups. Like, I've tried to cut off communication, and I still get messed with. Like I was just saying, my niece, she has her CPS case. My mom, or my niece's mom, tried to call my sister and say that my sister was going to be arrested for not reporting their abuse. And my sister's just like, wait, so you're calling the cops on me for not reporting the abuse that you partake in on my niece? Is that what you're admitting to? That you abused my niece? But yeah, so. Which, I'm not really there. So, I can't report on something I don't see. And when you're an out-of-state aunt, and all you have is the word to go off of from your niece, which I don't think she would lie to me. Not about something like that. And knowing the history of my family, yeah, I 100% believe her. Okay? So, there's that. I do kind of worry because I fear that because my mom can't necessarily hurt me, that she might try to hurt me. But, hopefully, and I pray that God's got this. And, I mean, honestly, my mom was just in a mental institution. I don't know why my stepdad got her out, but he did. He should just take everything and leave, in my own opinion. She doesn't deserve him. So, I feel bad for him. Like, my mom is so wild that he isn't even allowed to have a relationship with his own kids. But he was allowed to raise hers. And usually, it was him protecting her kids over her protecting her kids. Interesting. He should get everything. And she should get bars. Anyways, yeah. We touch the tablet and I wake up. Hopefully, that'll happen soon. How do you guys feel about this eclipse coming up on Monday? I did an article about it, if you want to find it. Um, trying not to say my company's name on here. Trying not to say my family members' names, but I did say my niece's name. Hopefully I can edit it out. I don't know. Anyways, y'all wouldn't. I mean, there's so many girls with that same name out there, and y'all probably wouldn't even be able to figure out how to spell it anyways. So, not to say that y'all can't spell, but her mom can't. Anyways, that's the issue with that. Sorry. I had to clarify that because I didn't want you guys to think that I was calling you stupid for not being able to spell. You know, because I insinuated earlier that people can't read. But anyways, yeah. How do you feel about the eclipse coming up on Monday? I'm excited. I like seeing cool space and stuff like that. You know, whether you're a flat earther or a round earther, it's no matter what perspective you're looking at it from, it's still a cool thing to witness. All right, so my editor is super excited about it. We're making it a whole event where I work at, so yeah, I'm excited for that. So I'm actually excited to go to work on Monday. Who's ever excited for a Monday? Only me when I know that there might be cake or something. You know, I guarantee somebody will bring some sort of baked good or something to work because, you know, eclipse theme, something. I don't know. If not, I got my own snacks. But still, like, I bet somebody will bring something eclipse theme to work. If I do, I'll take a picture and share it. Anyways, yeah, I'm just here, trying to unravel my own thoughts, unravel my own brain. I don't want to harbor any sort of hate towards the people that, you know, consistently tortured me, but it's really hard when they're continuing to do the behaviors. Like, I can forgive you for what you've done, but when you continue to do it, maybe you would deserve to, like, be evaporated into a black hole somewhere. Like, I don't know. Maybe straight to the electric chair with you. Why did we get rid of that? Let God deal with you. That's the only thing that gives me peace, because He has shown me time and time again how He will deal with people in His appropriate timing and in the best way possible. Dr. Tiller, my dad, Anina's dad, like, my brother, Michael. Like, you want to mess with me, I would, because I got a big God backing me. And that's actually why I came here to film this video today. I don't feel very good. I don't know if you can tell. I'm in yesterday's clothes. You know, I came home and I just crashed. And then I woke up this morning, actually put pants on. And then I deep cleaned my room. And then I was like, you want to know what? I better sit down and try to film this. Because if I wait until tomorrow, I'm not going to want to do it. And I need to do it before Monday. Because what if the world ends on Monday? Who knows? I'm not making any predictions. I'm not setting dates. If anybody is out there setting dates or trying to get you to buy a product while telling you Jesus is returning or telling you you gotta do XYZ, that's not what it's about, okay? It's about a relationship. It's about developing a personal relationship with Jesus. You should read your Bible. However, there are a lot of critiques I have about it. I do believe in the Bible. I just feel like there's a lot missing. Some of it has been more manipulated. I do feel like it's important, though, to get all of the knowledge that we can about it. So, that being said, I really love Jesus. God has been my biggest defender. He's proven that time and time again. However, I do really love listening to Tech 9. That's just always going to be a part of me. I love my Insane Clown Posse. Like, anything sad clown related. Like, I am for it. And you want to know what I think is funny? What seems to be why are narcissists so scared of clowns? Is it because it's a reflection of themselves and they don't want to admit it? But that's been a trend I've noticed, is genuinely, the narcissistic people I've known have been scared of clowns. I like clowns because they keep the narcissistic people away. So, yeah. Anyways. So I guess that's why I like clowns. Still trying to figure out the time thing, but I don't know. Maybe we're not meant to have all of the answers. I mean, it is kind of nice having it be somewhat a mystery, because what if I knew for certain that my dreams were real and that they were going to come true on a certain day, and why? That would be absolutely terrifying. But having it be a little bit of a mystery until the event happens and you're like, huh, okay, I guess that happened. And I guess I got a bit of a warning. Maybe I'll pay attention to my dreams next time, So, I don't know. Maybe pay more attention to your dreams. You want to know what's really weird? And maybe I mentioned this earlier, is I've been having, dreams of my day right before I have my day. And then I have, deja vu all day long. Has anybody else been feeling that? Because I feel like I'm not the only one. Whenever I have thoughts like these and I keep them to myself, like a little treasure that I feel like if I accidentally share it, somebody might steal it and ridicule it. But I don't think that's really the case, honestly. Observing more and more people out there, I've been finding that, maybe if I share these, I'll find that more people feel like I do. So, yeah. And, so, I don't know what else to say. So I guess I'm going to end it here. Thank you for coming and listening to me ramble on for another hour. Yeah. Anyways, thank you. Bye.